Hey friends, consumer attorney Rob Nahum here. I wanted to talk today about medical bills and medical billing. With so many of our brothers and sisters losing their jobs these days and the unemployment rate going so high, um, far too many people are, along with losing their jobs, losing their health insurance. And so I fear that one of the long-term impacts of the corona economy is going to be, in addition to all the other consumer debt, medical debt. And not necessarily because people were sick with COVID, but all the other things we routinely get sick with in our routine doctors' checkups and things. The medical bills can really add up. But what I want to talk about today is people who do have insurance and still get medical bills. It's a problem that confounds consumers, and it really plagues the consumer market. So there are really only three reasons anyone with healthcare insurance should be getting a medical bill. Number one is deductibles. Number two is copayments, and number three is coinsurance. And I'll explain what those are, but outside of those, if you have health insurance, you shouldn't be getting medical bills. Okay, so what are deductibles? Deductibles are sort of paywalls which you have to get past before your health insurance kicks in, right? It's the first X amount of dollars that the patient has to pay before the insurance company begins to pay the rest, right? And how low or high your deductible is, or if you have a deductible at all, depends on how good your health insurance policy is. Many health insurance policies have deductibles that have to be met if you're going out of network. In other words, there are certain healthcare providers that have pre-negotiated agreements with the health insurance companies, and those are in-network doctors. And if you go out of network, you may have to meet a deductible to pay that out-of-network doctor that you wouldn't have had to pay if you went to an in-network doctor. So what do you do about it, right? What are you going to do? Well, the first thing you do is, before you go and see a healthcare provider, make sure you know whether or not the doctor you're seeing is within your health insurance network. To do that, you should contact the health insurance company and the doctor. Make sure everybody's on the same page about whether or not you're seeing an in-network doctor or an out-of-network doctor. But what do you do when you don't really necessarily have a choice of what doctor you're going to see? For example, if you're in a car accident and you go to the hospital, everyone you see in that hospital is going to be a healthcare provider who's an individual biller. And just because the hospital may take your insurance, does that necessarily mean that every healthcare provider you see during your stay is going to be within your network? Sometimes it's not the case. For example, the anesthesiologist maybe isn't within your network. Getting a bill from a healthcare provider when you've been admitted to a hospital that takes your insurance, but the other provider didn't take your insurance, that's called surprise billing. Surprise billing, right? You're surprised to get a bill because you thought everybody was in your network and you were getting in-network insurance. Many states, including New York here, where my practice primarily is, has laws banning the practice of surprise billing. So if I register for a procedure at a hospital and they take my insurance and I'm in network, everybody I see during that stay has to be in network. If I get a bill from somebody because they were out of network, that's a surprise bill. It's against the law and they can't do it. Okay, the second reason that you may be getting a medical bill if you have insurance is a copayment. I think most people generally understand the idea of a copayment. Every time you see a healthcare provider, you have to pay some small portion of whatever the total is. How big or small that copayment is, again, depends on the quality of your health insurance. But generally, it's not that big of a payment. But if you're going to the doctor all the time, those little payments really, really do add up. So that's your copayment. The health insurance companies and your in-network providers have, as I said, pre-negotiated rates on what all the things they're going to do cost and what they're going to pay for it. Now, the health insurance companies are paying far less than what the total amount of the cost is, right? So if you don't have insurance, you're paying the highest amount for a given procedure, which is insane, but this is the system we have. So the people with the least means, it costs them the most for insurance. Nevertheless, if you have insurance, what your insurance company is going to pay out is going to be less. So what happens to the difference between what the insurance company pays and what the total bill was? right? The balance. What happens with the balance? Well, sometimes people are surprised to get a bill that shows them that they're being billed for the difference between what the insurance company paid and what the cost of the procedure was. That's called balance billing. That, again, in the state of New York and many other places, that is an illegal practice. They can't do balance billing. So if you're getting a bill that is sticking you with the difference in cost between what your insurance company paid and what the total cost of the procedure was, that is balance billing. It is illegal. They can't do it. The third reason an insured person may be getting a medical bill is because of coinsurance, right? Coinsurance. Some of these less quality health insurance policies have a coinsurance obligation where the patient has to kick in some percentage of whatever the cost is of the procedures, right? So your out-of-pocket cost on a policy with coinsurance is a lot more than policies without it. And that's why they're usually in lower quality health insurance policies. But the coinsurance payment is an amount you have to kick in for every procedure. It's 10%, 15%, 20%, whatever the percentage is, you have to pay some portion of the cost of the procedure. That is coinsurance, okay? So these are the three reasons that people with insurance may be getting medical bills. If you're getting surprise billing, if you're getting balance billing, no, they can't do it. Contact a lawyer. They can't do it. Peace. Please take care of each other. Love and light.